Hi and welcome to Brandon's Garage. I'm here working today on my 2014 Hyundai Elantra brakes and rotors, and I got my brakes. I have Bosch brakes and Rebestos rotors from Parts Avatar, www.partsavatar.com. I highly recommend. It was easy to use, rated premium, standard, and economy parts, and lots of selection. Alright, so here we go. Okay, so the first step is to take off this bolt and this bolt, connecting the bracket for the caliper. They're a 14 mil socket, and should come off with relative ease if you have the right tools. Make sure the socket is set the right way. Nope, it is not set the right way. There we go. Loosen the top and work on the bottom before taking it fully out. We're going to save these screws for the putting it back on. I'm going to get ready with my C-clamp to support everything. We don't want this brake line a whole lot of force put on it or bent too badly. There's the other one. I'm feeling I might need to pry this off. The caliper is probably depressed on it. I need to push it back. I wouldn't be prying on this if I wasn't replacing the rotors, but I am. So I'm going to work away at this and you can see my progress. So as you can see, I've got the C-clamp mounting this up here so that it's not putting too much strain on the brake line. Other people, there is a specific hook that you can get for doing this, but I don't have all the specialty tools. I'm just a DIYer, so this is what's going to do. The next step is to take off this bolt and this bolt, which are 17 millimeter sockets, and similar to the first two, they should come off with a little bit of help. I'm going to use some liquid wrench for that. So one thing I learned that has made this easier from the other side is that I turned the wheel after I had the tire off. And that made it a lot easier, so then I just slide this out. These brakes actually don't look horrible compared to the other side that I took out, but while I'm here, I may as well change them out. Vehicle's got about 90,000 kilometers on it. I don't know, divide that by 1.6 to get miles. Just trying to get this brake pad out, and I'll do that with a hammer. Again, there's still some wear left on these, but I've got the new Bosch ones from Parts Avatar, and we'll make those go. So the next step is there's two screws, two Phillips head screws that are holding the the rotor in place. And I'm going to try and take those out after I use some liquid wrench, because I ended up having to drill out one of the previous screws because I had stripped it. Being from Canada, where Robertson screws were invented, I believe, I'm a big fan of Robertson. I really don't like Phillips head because they strip easily, but it is what it is, and so I will be taking those out. Okay, I got both of those out. They're just little screws. They're nothing major, but again, I had to drill one out on the other side. So use of liquid wrench, probably a smart idea to avoid some of that. The next step is to see about prying off this router. Okay, here's the old rotor, and here's the new one. So I'm going to set it on top to make sure that it matches up. One's not bigger than the other, and it looks like a perfect match, as Parts Avatar said it would. So the next step is to clean off the hub, and I'm going to do that with a wire brush and some brake cleaner, and we'll see that in progression here. Okay, I've got that mostly cleaned off, and the next step is to put the new rotor back on. But before I do that, I'm going to turn it around backwards. Put it on here, and I'm just going to use some brake cleaner to clean it up. I'm going to flip it around and do it on the other side before I screw it in place. That's what I'm going to do. We do this so that any packing products or anything like that does not adhere to the metal. Anything from my garage maybe. Not that it's been out of the box for very long, but here's where I need to make sure that I line up where the screw holes were, so that I put the screws back in. Again, where the brake pads are at, I don't want any foreign objects. They're going to cause my brakes issues. Shiny new Rebestos brakes from rotors, pardon me, from Parts Avatar. Okay, I've got that on there, and here's the old. Here's the mounting bracket for the brake pads. I'm going to take the old hardware off. I'm going to clean in where the hardware sits, or pardon me, where the brakes sit. And I'm going to put the new hardware in and grease it. So those are the next steps. Okay, so I've got some grease where the brakes are going to sit on these mounting brackets. Now I need to grease the piston as well, because that's going to be touching the brake pads, and I guess that's what I'll do next. Okay, so I've got these bolts tightened. I'll torque them after. These torque to 60 foot-pounds. When I get the bracket that holds the brake pads on, that's going to be torqued to 40 foot-pounds. And I guess the next thing to do is to set the brakes. Okay, so I've got a bit of a problem. I had stripped off the bolt that sits there. So I went to my local store and got a new package. I'm going to replace the pin that slides in there as well as the bolt. And okay, so I've got the pin that should slide in there. I'm going to grease it up first. Where did I throw that paper towel? Probably more than came off of the other one, just in case it's lacking. I don't want to put it too high, but it's not. I think the bottom pin has a little rubber thing on it that you don't want to go above the rubber thing. So push it so that this collar goes. How do I get that collar up? There we go. There we go. I think that collar is seated properly. Take some of that grease off the outside. Using one of my new bolts, I will get the caliper reset, hopefully. Don't want to twist that brake line more than it needs to be, so make sure you don't over twist it. I'm not really sure how I managed to strip this nut, but I did, and that's why I'm changing all this. I'm just finger tightening that for now until I get my other nut that's not stripped in place at the bottom. That's an easy slide. And again, this is the 14 mil socket. Get that going here. And 17 mil wrench on the other side of this. Nice and snug. Tighten this one up. And again, we'll torque this at 40, whereas the back one that we already put on at 60 foot-pounds. So you do that with your torque wrench. And I guess the next step is to put the tire back on. So after I get them torqued, I'll just put the tire back on and then take it for a run and make sure it works. Okay, got the tire back on and everything looks good. I'm going to take it for a ride. It's still up in the air, so I got to unjack things and move some things out of the way. But things I've learned today, nothing ever goes as planned. On the other side, I had a whole bunch of trouble getting the rotor off. I had to drill out a screw because at the time I wasn't using any of the liquid wrench or whatever the product name is. So I'd highly recommend liquid wrench. You need the brake cleaner to clean off the rotor from any miscellaneous things that might have come in packaging. And then like that pin that I had that I replaced, and maybe I didn't have to replace the pin, but because I had to go get a screw and it came with the pin, it was worth my time, I guess. But like I said, nothing ever goes as planned. This took me a lot longer than it should have, and yeah, hit like if you like this video, if subscribe if you might, and we'll see you next time.